Gren's asked about the John Holmes statue.
Yes, this was unveiled, or well, the plan to fund it was unveiled. What's happening with it?
All being well, the statue will go up, but now it is open for public donation.
Where's it going to be?
Just outside the entrance of the south stand, so that John himself is looking over Kirkstall, where he came from and walked to the ground from. So it's going to be that kind of assembly meeting point that the Billy Bremner statue is at Leeds United. A lot of other clubs have, but right outside the south stand. And the first look of what it will be like was unveiled last week. The maquette of it in clay. It's going to be 8 foot high in bronze. There's a My Donate site that is now available if people want to subscribe to it. It's going to be, I think, exactly what that stadium is missing. If there's going to be one thing that Headingley has never had, it's that congregational commemorative point around somebody who means everything to the club, whatever the era is that you supported it. So, local guy, played more games than anybody else.
How good was it? Because I've never seen it, obviously. How good was it?
Well,
you go first.
As a young kid who came in, I think he made his debut at Hunslet in the full back, didn't he?
68.
Yeah, and did he what, 10 goals a kick, or 10 goals and scored a try. He scored about 21 points on his debut, but when you saw
a fella here with a team. They are a fella here with a team.
No, Mr. Pearson, you can't come in.
When I say with Holmes, he just made it look so easy, Mark, and it's like when you look and listen and learn a little bit. And when I saw Leeds playing in the 2 Challenge Cup finals in '77 and '78, and when you looked at what Holmes did and the time what he made for himself, and certainly when he put that drop ball over, it was the right foot on, and just the time just a nice little step and put it over with his left foot. So what John did, it was quite simple, where he would say to his own players, he had a sensational backline outside him, you know, with the players what he had. He'd just say, listen, you run into space and I'll find you, whether you're 5, 10, 15, 20 yards away. And it doesn't matter, because he tried, every opposition will tell you, they always try to knock Holmes' head off, but he gave himself so much time, and the way that he read a game wasn't the quickest of standoffs. You know, he said, if you looked at Holmes, you know, for him to go 50, 60, 70 yards, he couldn't do that. But if you ask somebody to organise, you ask somebody to, and I keep mentioning at times, coming up with this champion player to get you out of the mire, or to win your massive games, Holmes did that. And I ever played once with John, and he went up at Barrow. It was that's when he retired. It was Mal Reilly's last game as well, and I was I in awe of him, quite simply. Yes, I was, and I watched him like I did when I first came into the whole dressing room. You know what the players did, what did Steve Norton do, and what did Trevor Skinny do, and what did Dave Toppin. So I watched them, and I wasn't shouting and ball and all this sort of thing. I didn't go to the toilet and be sick and all this sort of thing. So I thought, I watched Holmes here. And I watched him, and I'm looking at the watch, and I'm thinking, what's he doing here? Does he know he's got to get changed? He didn't start getting changed, just nice and cut until 20 minutes before the game. Just took his clothes off, put his kit on, sat there and quietly, and just did the business. And you know what, I thought that was absolutely magnificent. I thought to myself, say, well, you haven't got a care in the world, have you? You don't do anything, will you? And now, when I listen to all the ex-players who speak about him, and I'm sure Phil will give better tribute than me, to be honest with you, and fully deserve this statue. It's quite simple. Simply the best, and the time what he made himself on the field, not just for himself but the players around him, the havoc he caused in defences. I'll tell you what, mate, it was an absolute pleasure to watch.
Could play in any position. Started as a full-back, played in the centre, moved to stand-off in 18 when he was bringing kids through at the end of his career, which again was a testament to him. He could have retired right at the very top, and Norman Smith, who meant a lot to him, said, look, we've got a good group of kids coming. I don't suppose I could persuade you to come and play towards the end of your career and just bring it. Yeah, of course. All he wanted to do was play. It was incredibly tough. The youngest of 3 brothers, and was shown no mercy when they were all growing up together. So he knew how to take a physical presence, which served him well in his later years. Won a World Cup. 1972 people forget that he actually played in 2 World Cups and won one of them.
What about the Ashes in 70?
No, he was he'd only just broken into Leeds.
Oh, right.
But played 625 games for Leeds, which is the most of any player, but 82 more than the nearest player. So just tells you everything about his durability. One of the most skillful players you will ever see if you get the chance to see the highlights of the 1973 John Player final, which I don't know if they're out there or not. Again, it needed a miracle ball to win the game, and we talked at the very beginning of the show about American football now doing what we're doing. In that game, he saw that John Atkinson was free on the wing with nobody around him, but John Holmes was 35 yards away, just picked up the ball one-handed and lobbed it straight into him, and Atkinson scored the winning try. That's what he could do. He was very tough as well. Very tough.
We did well not to laugh at Chris's.
Yeah, Chris, we've seen your message. It's great.
We were trying to be
sadly, it
respectful
says more about you than it does about us. So
we've
well
been
done,
respectful there.
What's he said?
No, it was a joy. It's all right. No, nothing bad. Nothing bad. But nothing we can read out.
We don't get bad messages sent, do we? But,
No.
P. Barwick, I love you, kisses.
Yeah.
Alan says you remember him dropping a brilliant left foot drop goal versus St Helens in the 1978 final at Wembley.
You'll be pleased to know that one of the ways of raising money for the statue is that there has been a painting of that drop goal, which will be auctioned off in itself, but there'll be a limited number of prints, we think 625 to commemorate the number of appearances, and you'll be able to buy a print of that painting of his left foot.
Was it that game against Saints, or was it Witness when
Saints.
he came across the field and dropped Leeds off his side?
Well, that was Witness.
Was that the Witness?
Yeah.
Again, the creativity from there just literally sucked the
Watch
defence
those
in
two
from
cup finals, 77 and 78, and the different ways in which John Holmes creates tries.
Yeah,
Some for his outside backs, with Atkinson one, there's a kick which bounces up perfectly. Dill's a drop off, Cookson's a drop off, and then his left-footed drop goal.
It was a pleasure to watch. It was a pleasure to be around.
And the book that was written about him was called Reluctant Hero, and that's exactly what he was. Didn't want any fuss. He would hate the fact that there's a statue going up about.